Hey everyone, I am Miss Hu, your physics teacher. In this video, we are going to go through the concept of Brownian motion. In this video lesson, we will learn to describe the random motion of microscopic particles, which is also known as Brownian motion. We will also learn what causes this random motion of the microscopic particles. First of all, let's go through a little history lesson. How the Brownian motion was discovered. So back in 1827, Scottish botanist Robert Brown was looking through his microscope at pollen grains and he noticed the chaotic zigzag motion of the grains. This was actually an unintentional discovery. He was actually studying the sexual reproduction of plants. So at first he thought that this chaotic motion was necessary for the sexual reproduction of the pollen. And there were many attempts explaining this motion by Brown himself as well as other researchers. However, it was only first in 1905 and then furthermore in 1908 when Albert Einstein managed to provide indisputable proof of the reason that explained this motion, and he published papers to explain these reasons. As recognition for his discovery, this motion was named after Robert Brown. That's why it is known as Brownian motion. So, what is Brownian motion? Basically, when observed under a microscope, the pollen grains were found to be moving in a random zigzag manner. This same behavior is also observed in many other situations. For example, smoke or dust particles in air. This random zigzag motion is known as Brownian motion. What causes Brownian motion? Albert Einstein was one of the first researchers who could explain accurately what causes Brownian motion. The random zigzag motion of the particles are actually due to the collisions of those particles with other particles. Now, these other particles cannot be seen. That's why when we observe the pollen grains or the smoke or dust particles, they seem to be chaotic, moving randomly here and there. But it's actually because of their collisions with the other particles. So you can see from this diagram, this kind of explains the zigzag motion. So the red particles show the path of the observed particle, which we can see, while the white particles represent the particles that we cannot see. That's why when we observe the path of the red particle, it seems to be random in a zigzag manner. Let's say we look at an example of pollen grains. So the pollen grains collide with water particles, and we cannot see the water particles. We only see the pollen grains moving in a straight line, suddenly changing directions in a zigzag motion. And that sudden change is because the pollen grains collide with the invisible water particles. The same explanation can also be applied for smoke or dust particles. So the smoke or dust particles, which we can see, will collide with the invisible air particles. So we only see the smoke or dust particles moving in a straight line, colliding and suddenly changing directions, creating that weird zigzag motion. So it's actually because they're colliding with the air particles, but we can't see the air particles, that's why we can't see the collision. So when it comes to your examinations, sometimes you would be required to draw the Brownian motion. So when drawing the Brownian motion, you must remember to draw the lines straight in a random zigzag. Here is an example that I've drawn. So you can see, start off from a single point and have straight lines with sudden changing random directions, all forming some form of random zigzag. Now, you must not draw the lines as random curves. So for example, if you're drawing it like this, a random curved line going here and there, that would be wrong because the particles are actually moving in straight lines. So it's the collision with other particles that cause them to change directions. So the particles are not moving in a curve, they're actually moving in random zigzags. If you found this video to be educational and helpful, please click like. And of course, subscribe for more lessons, solutions, and exam strategies from your physics teacher, Ms. Ho. If you'd like to stay updated about my available resources for SPM and IGCSE Physics, including video lessons, worksheets, and quizzes, do check out my website at physicsrocks.com. Happy studying!